Hey everybody, Herd 37 here. Got another flight today in the 747. Today we're going to go up from Miami International down here in Miami, Florida, and we're going to be going up to Kennedy International, JFK, up in New York City. It's about 995 miles on the flight plan. It should take just a little over 2 hours, so hope it'll be a good flight, and let's go ahead and move over to the cockpit. Alright everybody, as you can see, got the United livery on the plane. I really love some of these old school liveries. It's really cool, just old school, what, 80s maybe 70s, 80s. And as you can see, it's some good weather down here in Miami. I should like flying in some of the bad weather. So let's go ahead and move over and we'll get this thing started up. As you can see, some lightning going on. Awesome. Alright, let's start. We'll turn on the battery. Let's see. Standby power should go to auto. Bus tie switches should all be in auto. Generator control switches should be on. Hydraulic demand pump switches 1 through 3 are all off, and 4 goes to aux. Engine hydraulic pump selectors are all on. External power 1 and 2, we don't have external power hooked up, so we won't have to worry about that. Don't need any panel lights on. Electric engine control switches, can't use those because we don't have any power yet. So lights, we're going to go to nav, wing, and logo. Emergency lights are armed. And IRS, let's turn these all off. Now we turn them to nav and align. Alright, next page. We'll go down to the FMC. Got our position set up. Those IRSs. Down here in KMIA. I'm going to put that down here in IRS position. Let's go back up to the panel. Fuel pumps are all off. Crossfeed, there's 4 of them. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all on. We don't need anti-ice. Window heat is on. Yaw damper, upper and lower, are on. APU, to start that. APU Gen 1 2, as soon as it's ready, we'll turn those on. Passenger temperature auto. Flight deck temperature is on auto. Trim air is on. Upper and lower recirculation fans are on. Turn the gasper on. Packs 1, 2, and 3 all go to norm. Isolation switches left and right are open. And as soon as we get the APU comes on, we'll turn on the APU engine bleed. So we'll just give it a second for the APU to start up. Alright. You see those are available. Turn those on. Turn on the APU engine bleed. Come down to the FMC and we'll put our flight plan in. That's KMIA and KJFK. That in the company route. Activate it. Make sure I don't think I put those. Yeah, these need to go to nav. Alright, performance initialization. We need to go over to the load manager and get that stuff set up real quick. So we'll go over there. Alright everybody, here at the load manager. As you can see, I got it set as the tri-class. I just hit random passengers and everything, and I got the fuel, everything. So our takeoff weight will be about 770,000 pounds, which will give us an optimal flight level of 32,000 feet. Send that over to FSX, and let's go back over to the plane. Alright, click the 0 fuel weight, or we'll carry 10 in reserves. Cost index, we'll do 75, that's what I usually do. Cruising altitude, like I said, we're going to go to 32,000 feet. That's our optimal flight level for our weight. We're going over Miami, so we'll put minus 15% on the thrust. Flaps 20. And actually, before we do this, because this could change, we're going to depart Miami on runway 12. And we've already got the SIDS and stars inputted on the flight plan, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. As you can see, there's the star right there. And we'll be landing in JFK 4 right. That's not what I wanted. Alright, so here are V1, rotate V2, and our trim is 6. I'll go ahead and set up our trim right here to get to 6. It's about there. Over here to approach, 30 degrees flaps. It'll probably change, but we'll go ahead and put that in. Just make sure we don't have any discontinuities or anything. Here's one. Move that up. There we go. Now, you'll see we're landing right here. It's 171, 171. So I'm going to go ahead and slow this down so we don't come in too quick. I don't want to be at 20 knots. Alright, 200 knots when we're at 2,000 or above. Right there. So execute that. Alright, everything should be good now, and it looks good. Over here real quick, look at one thing. Because we're going to need our V2 speed here in a second. Alright. Altimeter is set. Come up here. Flight director goes on. Now we need our V2 speed. That won't let me click it from there. V2 is 171. Let's go ahead and put this in here. Kinda sucks I can't click on that. EZDok changes my cameras sometime, and that screws things up. Alright, LNAV and VNAV are both armed. First altitude, I'm just going to put it up at 32,000. Our flight level, instead of doing it step by step. By the way, that thunder sound and everything is from Rex. Kind of glad we got some difficult weather. Alright, autopilot disengage bar is up. Fuel control cutoff switches are all off. Trim we just did. Auto brake we need to put in rejected takeoff. Alright, next up is TCAS. We need to go to the 2D panel. We'll test our TCAS.
TCAS system test OK.
Alright, we'll move that over to TARA. The bias is above. No smoking, and seatbelts we just put on auto. Flight deck door is locked. Let's go back up to the overhead. All the fuel pumps are now on. Alright, we're not going to mess with the gangway. With the doors, honestly, I don't know how to do the doors in the 747. Like, I would go down to the FMC and look around, but I have no idea how to get to the doors. Alright, let's turn our beacon on, because we're about to push back. Hydraulic demand pump switches 1 through 3. Now I'll go to auto. And 4th is still an aux. Alright, pack 1. Oops. Is on. 2 and 3 go off. Engine bleeds 1 through 4 are all on. And let's get ready for our pushback and engine start. Gotta go back to the 2D panel for our pushback. We don't need to go back very far. Put it at 6. We want our nose to go to the right 90 degrees.
And, go ahead, Captain. We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Please park and brake, please.
Alright.
Okay, parking brake is off, cleared to push.
Brakes off, here we go.
Alright, we'll go ahead and start up 1 and 4. And when these get to 14%, we'll start it up. Alright, give it fuel. If you can hear them starting up. Let's go ahead and do 2 and 3. And when they get to the magenta line, which is 14%, we'll start those up. We'll wait for those to settle and for our pushback to stop before we go on. Should be about done. You can see we still went back a little too far.
Push is complete. Set park and brake, please.
Alright, brakes are set and pressure's normal.
Okay, sir. Tow bar is off. Pin is out. Watch for the pin on the right.
Alright guys, thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will be watching for the pin and the release from guidance on the right side of the airplane, and we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that. Have a good flight.
Alright, we're going to turn the APU off. I turned continuous ignition off. APU bleed is off. Packs 2 and 3 go to normal. Hydraulic pump 4 Comes up to auto. We're not going to use anti-ice. Taxi lights come on. Alright. I'm not going to use ATC to get to the runway. So I'll just go ahead and taxi and I'll meet you guys over at the runway. Alright everybody, we're here at runway 12. I'll show you one thing. I went back into the FMC on the depart and everything. It acted like the SID wasn't actually in. So I went ahead and put it in manually and just deleted the first few that were already in there. Now it's, as you can see, we've got the continuous line. It was a little different earlier. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Actually, let's put this back on legs. Alright, we're going to turn on auto throttles. Strobe is on. As you can see down here. Landing lights are on. Flaps are set. We've got brakes are on rejected takeoff. And we've got our heading, runway heading in. So let's go ahead and take off. Lit toga. Oh, getting off center line. Alright, positive rate. Go and put the gear up. Raise the flaps a little bit.
Too low terrain.
I was pushing down on the stick accidentally. Turn on autopilot. Remember, we got the flap schedule down here. You can hear the engines did rev back a little bit. It's kind of cool to go right over downtown Miami. Alright, flaps will go fully retracted. Take a look outside. Hopefully it's not too jagged. And of course I'll leave down in the comment section or description, I'll put what scenery I'm using. Because this is paid scenery. Alright, everything's looking good for our ascent. We'll go ahead and move over to the descent and approach. Alright everybody, we're about 6,900 feet. As you can see, we're about to make a right turn towards the airport. And we're what, about 23 nautical miles out. Obviously landing lights are on, taxi lights are on, auto brakes are set to 2, spoilers are armed. So everything looks pretty good. Alright, crossing 6,000 feet. So it should be at 200 there. So what height? 2,000 or above. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the auto throttles off. Go ahead and hit the localizer. Oops. See how far we are. About 11 and a half out.
2,500.
Seems like we're getting a little low. The approach hold. As you can see, we are low below the glide slope. All right, lowered the gear. Our approach 168. See, this is us right here, 4 right. Add just a little more thrust. Try to get it at 168. Alright, rolled out flare, everything's good. Bring back the throttle a little bit. Slightly fast.
1,000. Approaching minimums.
Everything looks good.
400. Minimums. Too low. Terrain. 300. Too low. Terrain. Too low. 200. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. 100. Too low. 50. Terrain. 40.
All right,
50,
back on the
20,
throttle.
10.
All right, reversers. All right, get rid of the reversers at 80 knots. We'll exit the runway right here. Alright, cut off the flight director, autopilot, turn off the auto brakes, we'll retract our flaps, we'll use ATC to tell us where to park, taxi to the gates.
Kennedy, ground, United 4677 Heavy, taxi to the gate. United 4677 Heavy, taxi to gate Alpha 10 via taxiway Foxtrot Bravo, Foxtrot Alpha, Tango Alpha. Taxiing to gate Alpha 10 via taxiway Foxtrot Bravo, Foxtrot Alpha, Tango Alpha. United 4677 Heavy.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and start up the APU. And we'll go ahead and taxi over to the gates. So we'll just move over to there right now. Alright everybody, we're here at our gate here at JFK. Go into the plane. The parking brake is set. APU Gen 1 and 2 are on. APU bleed is on. The engine hydraulic pumps go off. Go down here and cut off the fuel. No smoking off, seatbelts off, we'll unlock the door. We can turn our beacon off. Alright, that's it for if you want to do a turnaround. We'll go to cold and dark. So ground power we don't have. So we're going to leave the APU on for right now. Yaw dampers off. Hydraulic demand switches go off. Continuous ignition and auto start off. IRS 1 2 and 3 go to off. Alright, utility left and right off. All of our fuel pumps go off. Cross feeds do stay on. Window heat goes off. Trim air off. Gasper off. Upper and lower recirculation fans off. Packs 1, 2, and 3 all go off. Isolation left and right switches off. Generator control switches are all off. Go down here, we'll go to 2D panel, turn the TCAS off, or to standby. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and turn the APU off. Well, they would have gone off. 1, 2 off. These engine blades should have been off. Turn the APU bleed off. Turn off all these lights. Bus tie switches all go off. Standby power off. And we'll turn the battery off. Never get that one closed again. But that's it for this flight, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. I do love the 747, so we'll probably fly it some more every once in a while. I hope you all enjoyed the flight. I'll see you on the next one, and I'll leave you with another view of the landing. See you later.
$1,000. Approaching minimums. 400 minimums. Too low.
Terrain.
300. Too low.
Terrain.
Too low.
Terrain.
200. Too low.
Terrain.
Too low.
Terrain.
100. Too low.
Terrain.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.